And I was walking down a dark street, and I see some guys in the shadows kind of hanging out, a bunch of young guys. And they say, "Hey, where are you going?" And it's kind of dark, and I see they're kind of younger guys. They say, "You want a beer?" And I'm like, sure.
So we are here right now with Mr. Jim Kellett. He's the owner of the vlog Living Overseas TV. He's a travel vlogger. He's been all around the globe, and you have to check his channel out, man.
Mr. Jim, let's go straight to the point. Can you tell us what you do as a travel vlogger?
Well, I make travel videos, and probably one of the different things about my channel is that it's more about long-term travel. It's for people who are digital nomads and want to go somewhere for 2, 3 months, 6 months, or retirees that are moving somewhere permanently, or slow travelers like me who may go somewhere for half a year, go somewhere else half a year, move on. And I've been doing that for over 6 years now, traveling full time and just hopping from one place to the next, but spending enough time to really get to know those places also.
Yeah, aside from traveling, of course, what's the main thing that you really like?
I like doing.
I like to paddleboard, paddle surf. I do a little bit of rock climbing, hiking, biking, especially mountain biking. So, a lot of outdoor activities. I like nature. I like the arts of the cities and the culture. So I like to be able to go to a place that's got, artist friends, creative people, and a creative community. But then when I'm not in the city, I like to get out to nature and hike, bike, surf.
So it's very safe to say that you're a very outgoing person.
Yeah, probably so.
So tell us about your vlog. How many subscribers are you currently right now? How many are the most views you have on a video?
I've got over 100,000 subscribers. I think right now about 110,000, and so crossed the 100,000 mark and got the silver play button from YouTube. So that's kind of feel good, like you're a real vlogger.
You're a YouTuber.
Yeah, you feel like you're a YouTuber then. And then I've got videos. I've crossed 2 million views on some of the videos now.
2 million views.
How does it feel like having 2 million views?
It feels good, I think the first time you cross over 1 million, and you're in the million view club, that's pretty exciting. You start realizing the impact, when I'm in a city and many people know who you are, and people are coming up to you every day saying, "Hey, I recognize you. I watch your channel." That's kind of a cool feeling. Yeah. I gotta say, one thing I love about the Philippines are people love YouTube culture.
Yeah.
And that was my next question.
They treat you like a star here. Oh. And, so it's really fun to be a part of that because people really value YouTube here. I really value the viewers. I love the Filipino viewers. They leave nice comments and are loyal. Even when I was in Mexico, I still had a lot of Filipino viewers that continued to watch my videos there. So it's really nice to be able to come back and say thank you, everybody. I really love the people here.
What's a big difference between from other countries and the Philippines when doing vlog?
I'm doing vlogs.
Yeah.
There's every country is different, and I would have to say probably when it comes to vlogging, the biggest differences here in the Philippines are that Filipinos watch YouTube a lot. Yeah. If you compare it to someplace like the United States, every single city has an ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, Fox news station. So you might have 6 local TV stations putting out local content of some sort.
Local like per state?
Local like Davao, or like Mati. Mati would have its own TV channel. You'd have stuff going on. So the competition is very, very scattered and diverse. Where here in the Philippines,
We just only have ABS.
yeah, but you'll have some vloggers that live here or from here. You'll have some vloggers that come here and visit here that you follow. So you get a lot of local perspectives, and you get a lot of local followers that care about their favorite vloggers.
Yeah.
So that's a very unique, but more unique than anywhere else I've been in the world. I think the YouTube audience here in the Philippines is more loyal than what you'll find many other places.
So YouTube became our television here
Yes.
in
Largely, yes, especially your local television.
So like how does that tell, like, for your perspective, how do you see it as a culture? Like,
Is it
is that a good thing or like,
All right, yeah, I think it's a great thing. I think it's unique. You might say, oh, we don't have TV infrastructure like the US or Canada or Europe. And yeah, you might not have a lot of TV stations here, but at the same time, you've got technology now that makes it easily available for anybody. And so many people start a channel now with their phone and upload. So you've cut out, you don't need all that infrastructure that was once required. So people can tell their own stories, they can tell their own viewpoint. If it connects with people, you'll get viewers.
yeah.
So if you're doing something relevant, if you're doing something about the arts in this city, and there's people that are artists in this city, and you start interviewing them, they start realizing you've got other people making videos about creative, artistic people, then you're going to start a small art community online of like-minded people. You don't have to go find them, they can find you online, and you can grow it, with those other communities.
A few tips on maybe starting and sustaining.
Be consistent.
Be consistent.
Because you look at my channel, when I first started putting up the videos on YouTube, I was actually making long format videos, selling them on Amazon, mostly in the United States. And YouTube was a second thought. It was something easy to do. I put out some videos. I thought I'll put out free videos on YouTube, and at the end say, go buy the video on Amazon. For the full videos, go to Amazon. But what started happening is I started getting more and more views on those freebie ones. And after a while, after about a year and a half, I started looking and saying, wow, this is still growing. And, I looked at it originally and maybe I got 30 views the first month, which most of them were my friends. And I thought, oh, that's not really doing anything. And, you look back 3 months later and it's up to 90 views. You're going, no, that's not very good. But then a year and a half, you look at it and you go, wait, this has 3,000 views now. Maybe I'll put a little more effort into it. And then as I started putting it in, when you start going weekly, it grows faster and faster and faster. And that's my biggest problem is I stop and then I have to start again. And it has to grow again. And so if you stay consistent, it tends to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. Don't be discouraged if you're not getting the views. When you do one that's popular or more popular than the others, try to pay attention and say, oh, what was that one? What was different about that video?
Yeah.
And try to recreate that because you're starting to find an audience. And, as you start connecting with that and finding those people that aren't finding information other places, then you'll grow. When I started doing just, what to do videos on travel, there were so many other people doing that, it was hard to compete. But when I started saying, how much does it cost? How do you find a place to rent for a month?
Yes.
When I started doing things like that, there were people that weren't finding those other places, and that's where my core audience started to grow.
So you found your niche. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to just kind of keep trying different things at first until that kind of develops. But be true to what you like. If you like it, if you're interested in it, there's probably somebody else that's interested in it, and be consistent until they find you. Once they find you, they'll share it with their friends that think like that, and it'll grow. But it doesn't happen overnight. But once it starts happening, it starts getting faster and faster and faster. You got to stay consistent, and then also if you're doing things about your audience. So for me, if I interview other travelers, people that are already living in the Philippines. I can't be an expert on living in Cebu. So I can go there, I can stay there for 3 months, I can research it ahead of time. So I know the information I think is correct. Then I go research it while I'm living there. I can show what I actually pay for food. I can show what I'm actually paying as a tourist living in an Airbnb for that month. But to find somebody that's lived there for a year and can buy a lease and furnish their own apartment, that's going to be a way different price. So I have to interview those people. So I interview other people who are an expert that have lived there for 5 years or 10 years. And so I research, I do my own experience, I interview experts living there and share all that. So if you're doing something about the arts in this city, you're not maybe an oil painter, and you may not be a sculptor, but you can interview those people.
Yeah.
You can go to a gallery and talk about their experience. You can start sharing that community. So if you start including those other people, they're going to say, wow, I met these guys. They're real interesting. They're talking about this and this and this, and they interviewed me, and they share it. And then those people share it some. And then you do somebody else, and they share it. So it keeps growing and escalating. You expand your...
We call that networking.
Networking, yeah. You expand your network. And by including those people, they're buying in. They believe in your mission.
Yes.
They believe in your message. They're a part of it, so they help promote it too. And you're helping to promote them, so everybody wins.
You're doing a service actually. The individual YouTubers, local or foreign, domestic or foreign, is actually doing a good service, a big service.
Yeah,
because they're now the television channels.
they are. They're now the channels.
Locals here in the Philippines, especially.
Exactly.
But
I think also always remember your viewer, because it's really about them. If
Yes.
you're like, oh, I want to, and maybe I do videos about my interests sometimes, but I also try to remember that the viewer is watching me, pay attention to their comments, what they want, because it goes both ways. If you're not trying to entertain and give the information your viewer wants, then it's not just like I want to be famous, so I'll make a YouTube channel. If you're doing it for that reason, it's probably going to fail.
Yeah.
If you're doing it because you care about, I want to provide a solution for people to come and live here, I also want to make sure they're good people and they understand and help out the community. I don't want to bring a foreigner here that's the grumpy, unhappy foreigner. I want to bring the foreigner here that realizes that you come here for the people, you come here for the nature, to make friends, because the people are the biggest, best asset of the Philippines, in my opinion. The friends I make here are really good friends. And if you come here because it's cheap, you're going to be unhappy. If you come here because you want to enjoy and make authentic friends and laugh with them and have a good time with them and do things, then you're going to have a great time here. So that's what I want to sell. Is not just, Philippines is a cheap place to live. It's why is this a good place to live?
Right.
And there's good and bad everywhere. So if you say, hey, come here for these good things, if you want, high-end living, go spend money in some high-end country in Europe, because, you may not be happy. But if you want to go have a good laugh with some people and go see some cool beaches and hang out and barbecue, come here.
I go to a little sensitive topic, like safety and security, peace. Because we have a stereotype or a stigma here in Davao, Mindanao especially. That there's it's a war-torn area or there's conflict. And how is it staying here? How's the...
Oh, I love it here. It's very, well, of course, the city here, I think if you look at historically, you've got some thoughts about that. And I probably see more of that within the Filipinos than foreigners, because foreigners, most of their information comes from current stuff out on YouTube and YouTubers, which are traveling around, doing things here, and they can see that it's safe. Where I think in the Filipino mindset, you've got more of a historic background, before the president cleaned up the area. You've got memories that a lot of foreigners don't have. My first trip to Davao, I thought, wow, this is safe. And taxi cabs, for instance. So you can go into Manila. If you leave the port in Cebu, you're trying to find a taxi driver that's going to use the meter. It's hard. You got to walk several blocks away. People will say, no, it's this cost, and they'll go
plus 500, plus 1,000.
Yeah, where you come here, and a lot of times taxi drivers will say, oh, we've got the most honest taxi drivers around here. And they are, and they're proud of it. There's been a new change that people are proud of. People are proud that it's a safe city now, and that crime is low. And you can feel it. I don't ever worry, about taking my camera out and vlogging with it. I wouldn't do that in Metro Manila. There's places I might.
They can't do.
I might in Makati, but there's other areas I would not. So you got to be careful and cautious. But in general, around here, I never worry about anything. I'm always treated nicely. I've never witnessed anything bad. I've never had a bad experience.
So far.
Yeah.
No, as you said earlier, there's good and bad things.
And things can happen. But if you're aware of your surroundings, if you
just be safe, right?
Yeah, be safe.
Be aware.
Be safe. Be aware. Be friendly and courteous.
Yes.
Exactly. If you're a jerk to people, then you're more likely to have something bad happen.
Or like what energy or your.
Yeah, and if you're going out looking for drugs, then the chances of something happening to you are more likely.
More likely to go up.
Yeah. But if you're hanging out in nice places with having barbecue at the local restaurant and meeting people, you're probably going to have a really good time.
Yes. The bottom line is don't be stupid when you go to other places.
And that goes with anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Another sensitive issue is there's an issue about Filipino baiting.
Yeah,
like foreign YouTubers, they're just using
Filipino audiences
to bump up their views. And what's your take on that?
I heard at one point that they said, oh, your travel channel views will go up if you go to the Philippines.
Yes.
And I've heard that, and it's true. I think mine went up when I came to the Philippines, but I didn't come to the Philippines
for that
to cheat the Filipinos into watching me for more views. I came here because I wanted to be in the Philippines. I wanted to surf. I wanted to see the nature. I wanted to experience what was going on here, and I wanted to tell the stories about it. And it's easy because there's lots of cool, good stuff here. So it's, did my views go up? Maybe. I hope they do. But I'm not. I feel like I'm not taking advantage. I'm sharing the cool stuff. If Filipinos like watching my stuff, that's awesome, because my primary audience is the US. But I do know that my viewership throughout the world, Philippines has a large section of that, compared to, but I've got a lot of, if you look back before the pandemic, I've got a lot of videos about the Philippines. And I think a lot of people enjoyed seeing places like Mati and Siargao and some of the stuff I covered, because I do look at it from a tourist standpoint. I do go in and I'm not paying the same rates you guys will get if you go there, because when I go there, I get taxed. I got to pay the Airbnb. I don't have the ability to do a lot of things the same way a Filipino can.
I think it's just because like in Filipino culture, like we like seeing other culture appreciate us.
Of course.
From historic background. Like we are very oppressed from way before, and it's a good fresh breath of air. Like now, this time they're appreciating us. I think it's that part of it.
Yeah, and so I think it goes both ways. If you respect your audience, if you are engaged and care about the community you're covering, then I think it's going to be authentic and good for everybody. And I love it here. I love the people here. So that's easy. If somebody comes in with the intention of, I'm going to go to the Philippines to try to get more views on my channel, then I don't know if that's going to work for anybody. People are probably going to see through it. They're probably not going to feel their authenticness in it.
Not authentic.
I think when you watch
Your intention isn't pure.
Yeah, and I think when you watch my videos, you get the connection that I like it here.
Yeah.
One of my videos that is edited, that you guys helped me with.
We edited.
We're
gonna edit these two videos.
We're partnering here. But at
We're
Chardell, at Sikior, I'm walking up and I'm with Moana, and we're doing a video, walking around showing me things. And one of the guys there says, "Hey, remember me?" And I look over at him, and he was the
driver.
Yeah, he was a pedicab driver. He rode the trike the trip before when I was there. But I talked with them, and introduced myself. When I get into a cab, a lot of times I'm not just like, "Oh, take me here." I say, "Hey, are you from this city?"
You're not being a stranger.
Yeah, and I'm interested. "Oh, you're from the province? Which province?" And they tell me, "What's it like?" So I care about them. If I'm staying at a hotel and I'm walking past the doorman,
even the barista, you remember her, like, "Hey, Angelica."
Yeah, I mean, she would give me my coffee every day. Why not know who she is, right? When my doorman, I see him every day. Why not
be friends with him?
Yeah, because he's in my life. He's courteous to me. So I like to know the people that I'm there with, and they become my friends. Sometimes they end up telling me about cool places to go or where to eat that they eat, because if you go eat at the touristy places, you're going to spend a lot of money, and they have high rent, so their prices are high and their food's not as good. You go find out where the locals are eating, and it's probably cheap and good, and you got a chance of meeting new people in so that's what I do, and I think it comes across in my channel that I care about the people I meet. I care about where I stay, and I want to have a good time, and I want them to have a good time. If I travel here, I want them to say, "Oh, Jim was a nice guy. You remember him?" Because you guys are all nice to me. So
your video is for digital nomads. Are you considered a digital nomad now?
I would. I think what the term I like to use is location independent.
Location independent.
And in some areas, people just say digital nomad, and that's fine, that's correct. Some places, they think of the digital nomad as the younger person who's trying to live cheap and get, make it online. And a lot of times they're trying to, they end up trying for a year and fail and have to go back home and or maybe not, maybe they make it. But a lot of times that digital nomad has kind of a connotation of somebody that's also living on the cheap and on the move. And in some places that location independent is somebody that has a job, but it's an online job, so they're able to move around and live within that budget. And that's how I am. I've got my money from YouTube, and it kind of goes up and down. If it goes down, I got to work harder, or live cheaper. If it goes up, I can afford to go someplace that's a little more expensive. A lot of times I'll stay at a place that's cheap, and then I'll stay a lot of times I'll stay for a little while at a place that's kind of high end, even for me, because I want to show what it's like for the viewers. And for many people that come in vacationing, they can afford that. And what a lot of Filipinos probably don't realize is a lot of foreigners that come here to visit, they're on a vacation. They don't live like that all the time. They've saved for 3 years to do that. So they may be here spending a lot of money, but it's a lot of money for them too. And when they go back, they're going to be working hard every day for the next 3 years to do that again. So it's not always the way it looks. And, but I don't know if that answered your question or not.
Because I would like to see more Filipinos becoming location independent instead of seeing Filipinos going out for the diaspora, like working abroad as a worker, as a nurse or something like that. And I see videos of Filipinos abroad, but they're talking about how they went to Canada, how they got their card.
Like their
How about
life,
seeing more Filipinos going abroad, like for vacation or looking like doing
like
travel
what you're
vlogs?
doing also, like
And I know some that have. I know I've got a friend that's a Filipina that is in Kopangan, Thailand, and went to Europe for a while, and she now does. She does a lot of different things for money, but she does a lot of digital work, photography for websites and stuff like that. She also is involved in yoga community and things like that. So you've got people that are adapted and learned how to do that and can travel and do that. You just have to learn how to do it within the money you make.
Yeah.
But what's happening more and more in the Philippines now is just like you guys have work that's online that are clients from other places that send you stuff and that you can work. And that client somewhere else is trying to save some money, to find some help that they can afford to make their project work. And you're getting a chance to make some more money than you might make on a local client here. And the world is becoming an international world more and more and more.
We're getting closer.
Yeah, and with with Upwork and Fiverr and some of these different things like that. There's
Freelancing.
There's a lot of Filipinos that are doing digital online virtual assistant and different things like that. There people that are learning how to do. Somebody I was talking to, they had worked for one of the online data processing companies. And then they ended up meeting somebody and started working directly with one client in Singapore. And now they're just working only for that one client and it's direct. So they cut out the middle person in a giant corporation, and now they're doing single, and they're getting to travel to Singapore sometimes because they want to do face-to-face meetings. And so their job changed from being one of those big corporate jobs to now direct with a small company client. So things are changing all the time, and there's going to be more opportunities for people. I know somebody that is doing YouTube and makes patterns for clothing for crochet, and they can't afford to ship crochet around the world, but she learned that she can sell products, the patterns online, and you can download a digital pattern and she can sell it for $3 and that she can show and sell that on YouTube and find clients. So she's making money not from YouTube views. She doesn't have giant views, but she does have subscribers that buy patterns that can be delivered digitally. So there's new things like that all the time that are coming. And if you're creative and if you think outside of the box and, okay, what are my limitations? What can I do? And she figured out, wow, I can sell a pattern digitally. They can download it. I don't have to go through somebody else. I can do this myself. I can get the money direct, and I don't even have to have thousands of subscribers. I only have to have enough that are buying the patterns. So, there's lots of ways to make money that we haven't figured out yet. Yeah. And Filipinos are creative. They can come up with stuff like that. So keep learning about the digital world. Keep realizing that, you can work other places. You might not be able to work as a nurse somewhere else because you got to be there to take care of somebody. You might not be able to clean somebody's house online, but what can you do online? What can you do virtually? And learn those skills, learn how to do it, and
you don't even need to have 1 million views.
You don't
to sell those stuff.
No.
Speaking of selling,
buy my shirt.
We're selling shirts. Buy EFF shirts, man. DM our page, Dig This, because life's a trip, and EJ Fernandez films.
I have a few viewers for my short films online. Just a few. Yeah. The biggest is 150,000 views.
That's good. 200 plus already.
And then what I do is I sell shirts, and then the income I use for shooting a next film.
Yeah.
It's sustainable somehow.
So here's the other thing that creative filmmakers, documentary filmmakers, a lot of times those are hard places to make money. A documentary usually doesn't make enough money to pay for itself. Even big documentaries that you see on National Geographic and places like that often don't make enough money to pay their production costs.
Yeah.
But they have patrons that believe in the subject. They have, just like many artists do. You get somebody that watches your film and say, hey, you know what? I would like to sponsor him at a film festival. And they'll underwrite the cost for you to enter film festivals or go put the fundraising party together for you to raise money for your next film.
Yes.
And so
That's
that's
a good idea, man.
So that's one of the things that I started doing when I was doing documentary projects is I find somebody and I say, hey, would you want to hold a fundraising party, invite some people, be an executive producer, help me raise funds? You know, we can screen the finished video places. We can have a party with the production people or actors. You know, we can print out scripts for people to have if they donate. You know, how can we make this work? And then you get somebody that says, I would love to be a part of that. They've got money. They don't have creativity. They don't have an option to be a film producer very often. You know, so you're bringing them something that's unique. They're saying, wow, I can be a part of a creative, cool video.
So that's what you're doing already.
I have a few sponsors and patrons.
Yeah.
Who give really good amount to help me produce.
Yeah.
Maybe we can come up with a fundraising activity.
Yeah, like a party.
Yeah.
And
if you do a fundraising party, you know, a lot of times then you're just asking, hey, can we use the space for a night? Can we use your art gallery for a night for a fundraiser? You know, will you donate the space? You know, will you and you get some freebies like that, and people say, yeah, I'll do that to help this. I believe in it. And then it comes together, people get excited. You know, maybe it's just like, hey, if you want to just donate, we'll pass the hat. If you want to be a sponsor and be in the credits and be a part of this project, you know, talk to me and we'll figure out. So you can grow that. In documentaries, when you're telling an important story, a lot of times people are saying, yes, I care about that culturally. I will put some money up that to save that and save that message and make it last. Because you can tell stories on video and on YouTube now that are going to be up there for 100 years, maybe. You know, who knows? But you get a chance to be a part of history, and they can make that happen. So that's a valuable thing that they can be involved in, and that's how much of the arts is, you know, backed. And then if you get to go to festivals and win awards, that's their award too.
yeah, they're part of it.
They're part of it. Yeah.
Like
Fundraising parties really soon.
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I'm gonna put that fundraising.
That's
party.
good. Let's organize it. So you know, if you wanna hang out, be part of this also.
We can have that.
You can have that. It's a very generic question. Like you've traveled the world a lot, right? Like you've been to a lot of places. Which one is your like favorite?
I don't have a single favorite. You know, it's like, what's my favorite dessert or meal?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, I could eat one if I eat something I really like every day for 3 months, I don't want it. You know, and that's kind of how I feel. And being nomadic, you know, it's like, well, I can live in the Philippines until I'm tired of it, and then I can go somewhere else. You know, if I get tired of, and there's good and bad everywhere you go. You know, nothing's going to be all great. You know, so you can go somewhere until you're tired of the things you really like, and you're fed up with the things you don't like, and then you go somewhere else. So that's kind of what I like. You know, things I like about the Philippines, the people. You know, it's friendly people that authentically know how to have a good time, even if they don't
Always
have much.
smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Even
so
if like the house is dilapidated with the storm, they still laugh. That's
Authentically know how to have a good time.
and you know, and there's been so many times that I've had good times with people. I was in Port Barton, Palawan, and the boats weren't running because it was too stormy. And I was walking down a dark street, you know, and I see some guys in the shadows kind of hanging out, a bunch of young guys in the shadows, you know, and they say, hey, where are you going? You know, and I said, I'm just looking around. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just kind of, you know, looking to see what the town's like. And and it's kind of dark, and I see they're kind of younger guys. They say, "You want a beer?" And I'm like, sure. So, so they pour me they've got the Red Horse and big bottle of Red Horse, and hand me a cup of Red Horse. And I'm sitting down talking with them, and they're the tour boat guys. So they're the guys that all work on the tour boats, but they haven't been working for 3 days. So they're hanging out, and they shared a couple beers with me. So the next night, I went over. I got a big bottle of beer, and I walked over, sat it down, and talked to them again. And
instant friends.
So that's the Philippines. It's like you hang around. Somebody's going to try to feed you. Somebody's going to try to give you a drink. And if you sit down and enjoy it, you make new friends. And I was talking to him, and I said, "Have you guys been other places?" And several of them had gone away to school, gone to off Palawan to some. One lived in Cebu for a while, went to school. They came back, and I said, "Do you like Puerto Princesa? Do you like Cebu?" And they're like, "No, we like it here." And it's like they're happy. It doesn't matter that the boats aren't running. They're just eat a little less, drink a little less, hang out, talk with friends that night. The boats will be running after the storm, and everything's good. So it's content. Right. They didn't like the city. They didn't need that. They tried it. Others stayed there the whole time. But that's the thing that can happen many places, and happens for me in the Philippines. Is I meet people, I learn their stories, I learn what they like. We have a good time. We eat a little bit of chicken, drink a little bit of beer, laugh, swim, hike, whatever. It's good.
This is one of the most warm places. Not warm. Literally.
It's warm. It's warm literally too. But I love the people here. That's one of the best things. The nature. I love the nature here. Waterfalls, scuba diving, different things like that. So there's a lot of great things about it. And those are what I like. It's what I enjoy. You enjoy the best of what a place has to offer.
I'd ask you for a few more messages, but I think the last message about having authentic fun with Filipinos is a good message.
Good.
To end our podcast.
All right.
Or is there anything else you would like to say?
No. Invite you to watch your channel.
Watch Living Overseas TV on YouTube. I'm Jim Kellett. Thanks for having me in your country, and I love you guys.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim, for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
first podcast.
being part of our first episode. So anyway, I'm gonna end this podcast. If you enjoyed that, you go subscribe down below. Whatever, man. It's up to you. If you don't want to subscribe, whatever, man. Anyway.
Thank you.
Boop.